Students, in my previous video, I had taken up till line number 52 of Browning's famous dramatic monologue, Grammarian's Funeral. So today we are going to proceed further. Yeah, but we found him bald too, eyes like lead, accents uncertain, time to taste life, another would have said, up with the curtain. This man said rather, actual life comes next. Patience, a moment. See, earlier I had told you people that the disciple of that dead grammarian is just describing the characteristic qualities of his master by way of the commands that he is giving to his disciples and the song that he is singing. So, here again, he says that the master devoted himself night and day to the study of books, and that's why he became learned. No doubt he became very learned. This we had covered in the previous stanza. Continuing the same thing, the disciple says that because of so much devotion to studies, he became learned, no doubt, but he also became old before his time. He became old and his eyes lost their brightness, and because of the physical weakness, he could talk only in a halting, incoherent manner. The disciple says, had there been any other man in his place, he would have said that he had acquired enough knowledge and now it was time for him to give up his seclusion and his books, which come in the way of the enjoyment of life. That means, had there been any other person in place of the grammarian, after studying so much, after gaining so much of knowledge, that person would have now opted for enjoying life. But the grammarian was totally different. He said that real life is not in this world, but in the world to come. He said that it is not the real life, rather, it is just the preparatory phase for the next life. Grant I have mastered learning scrapped text, still there's the comment. Let me know all, prate not of most or least, painful or easy. Even to the crumbs I'd fain eat up the feast, I nor feel queasy. He was of the opinion, the grammarian was of the opinion that life in this world is merely a preparation for the life to come. Therefore, he will study patiently for some more time, and in this way, he said that he would prepare himself for enjoyment in the life to come. He was of the opinion that no doubt he had learned the original texts written in an involved and difficult style, but he said that he had still to read the commentaries on these texts, as he wanted to master the whole of knowledge. He did not want to be told that what he has acquired is enough and that it is very difficult to acquire more knowledge. As he was of the opinion that there was no question of more or less easy or difficult for him, the disciple says that he took all knowledge to be his province. That means he wanted to master as much knowledge as he can. He had, you can say, unending, unsatiated desire for earning knowledge. He wanted to enjoy the feast of knowledge up to the very last crumb, and no amount of knowledge could create in him any feeling of uneasiness or discomfort. That means he never grew sick or fed up with knowledge. Let's proceed further. Oh, such a life as he resolved to live. When he had learned it, when he had gathered all books had to give, sooner he spurned it, image the whole, then execute the parts. The disciple says that their master was determined to acquire all knowledge, to know all about man and his life before he actually began to live that life. So here in this particular paragraph, he points out the fact that he started to just, you can say, grabbing knowledge from wherever source he could. And then when he had just exhausted that particular book or that particular material, very soon he became dissatisfied with that thing. And his style of doing the things was, his focus was always on the whole. That means he always imagined about a particular thing in its totality, and he started working upon that thing. That means achieving that thing part by part. I think that is the best option, best way to do something. You have to focus on the whole, and then you have to execute your plan part by part. That's what the grammarian also did. Fancy the fabric, quiet, ere you build, ere steel strike fire from quartz, ere mortar dab brick. Now there is a very beautiful metaphor used here, that the you can say acquiring knowledge of that grammarian, the process of acquiring knowledge by that grammarian has been compared to a building or a project. The disciple says, before constructing a building, we first prepare a chart of that building. We try to form a clear idea of it in our imagination. Only when the entire conception of the building is clear to us, we proceed to construct it in parts. Only when the whole plan is clear does a builder strike the stone with steel and plaster bricks with cement. So, the grammarian was of the opinion that construction and execution come only after careful planning. And he was of the opinion that similar is the case with human life. We must first know all about life, and then alone should we begin to enjoy it. This was his philosophy. That was why the grammarian was resolved first to acquire learning and know fully about life. He spurned the idea of beginning to live sooner than, that is, before he had acquired full understanding of life. Here's the town gate reached. There's the marketplace gaping before us. Yeah, this in him was the peculiar grace, heart in our chorus, that before living he had learned how to live. No end to learning. Earn the means first. God surely will contrive use for our earning. So, as I told you earlier, that in between a dramatic monologue, the speaker speaks some certain lines which tell us that there are speakers who are following the instructions of the particular speaker. Not only they are following, but also they are listening with full attention the speech. So here also the disciple is giving instructions to the fellow disciples as the funeral procession marches up. They reach the town gate and they see the market of the city opening wide before them. The speaker asks his companions to take heart, for their journey is practically over and their destination is near. Continuing with the enumeration of the many qualities of the dead grammarian, the speaker points out that the distinctive quality of his character was that before beginning to live, he decided to acquire a knowledge of life. There was no end to his learning. His principle was that before beginning to enjoy life, he should understand life, and for such understanding is necessary for real enjoyment. This was his philosophy. He had full faith in God and was sure that God would grant him a long life so that he may put his learning to good use. His philosophy was one should earn first, then only spend. Think about spending. So one should first learn the art of living and then one should start living. And he had full faith in God that God is surely going to help him execute his plan. Others mistrust and say, but time escapes. Live now or never. He said, what's time? Leave now for dogs and apes. Man has forever. Back to his book then, deeper drooped his head. Calculus raked him, leaden before. His eyes grew dross of lead. To cease attacked him. Now, master, take a little rest. Not he. The disciple says that normally the common people, they have lack of faith in God. They say that time is passing swiftly and they think that their life will soon come to end. So their philosophy was that they should make hurry to enjoy, otherwise their life will come to an end. On the other hand, the dead scholar knew that the human soul does not die. It lives on in other worlds. So he never cared for the present, for he had unflinching faith in the immortality of human soul. He said that only the lower animals like dogs and monkeys worry for the present. Man should care for the future alone, the life to come. And according to him, here lies the superiority of man over animals. So, all the time, he returned back to his studies. And day by day, he became even more absorbed in his studies. The stoop in his shoulders grew worse. He suffered from stone in the bladder and from various other bodily ailments. His eyes grew dull and lustreless as lead. He suffered from cough and bronchitis. His pupils asked him to rest, but he would not rest. That's it for today.